During World War II, British researchers discovered one plant so powerful that gardens using it produced 3 times more food than gardens using store-bought fertilizer. No chemicals, no purchases, no dependency. Just one ingredient that created infinite fertilizer from thin air. This plant sends roots 10 feet underground, mining minerals that surface soil lost centuries ago. It pulls up nutrients that no commercial fertilizer contains. It produces 4 harvests per year, every year, for decades, without replanting. Victory gardeners who grew this plant never bought fertilizer again. Their soil improved automatically. Their harvests tripled while neighbors struggled. The British government promoted it as the secret weapon of food production. And for 80 years, this knowledge has been systematically erased. Not because the plant stopped working, because it threatened a fertilizer industry now worth $242 billion, because you cannot sell nutrients to gardeners who grow unlimited quantities for free. Tonight, you're learning the one ingredient they buried. One plant, infinite fertilizer, forever. The industry is terrified you'll discover this. If you're new here, this channel exposes forgotten methods that billion-dollar industries pray you never discover. The plants that replace their products, the secrets that create permanent independence. Hit subscribe right now, turn on notifications, share this with everyone still buying fertilizer. Let's get into it. The plant is called comfrey. For thousands of years, it was the most valuable plant in European agriculture. Farmers called it the miracle crop. Gardeners considered it essential. No serious food producer operated without it. Then the fertilizer industry arrived. Synthetic fertilizers promised convenience. They promised measured nutrients. They promised modern scientific gardening. And what they actually delivered was dependency. Comfrey threatened that dependency from day one. One comfrey plant produces 4 to 5 pounds of leaves per harvest. It can be harvested 4 to 5 times per year. That's 20 to 25 pounds of organic matter annually from a single plant. A patch of 10 plants produces over 200 pounds. Those leaves contain nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, iron, and dozens of trace minerals. The complete nutritional package that fertilizer companies sell separately in different bags at different prices. But comfrey produces this nutrition forever. Plant it once, harvest it for 20 years. The plant doesn't deplete, it doesn't require inputs. It converts sunlight and deep soil minerals into surface fertility indefinitely. The fertilizer industry generates $242 billion annually selling what comfrey produces for free. They couldn't allow gardeners to discover that one plant eliminates the need for their entire product line. So they erased it from gardening education. They removed it from recommended plant lists. They made sure generations of gardeners never learned the name of the plant that would have freed them. Comfrey's secret lives underground. While most plants root in the top 12 inches of soil, comfrey sends taproots 8 to 10 feet deep. This depth changes everything about what the plant can access. Surface soil is depleted. Centuries of farming have stripped the top layers of minerals. Rainfall has leached nutrients downward. The zone where most plants feed contains a fraction of what it once held. But deep soil remains mineral rich. The nutrients that washed out of surface soil accumulated in subsoil layers. Calcium, potassium, phosphorus, and trace minerals that plants need all migrated downward over centuries. They're still there. Most plants simply can't reach them. Comfrey reaches them. Those 10-foot taproots penetrate into mineral deposits that surface-rooting plants will never touch. The plant absorbs nutrients from depths that might as well be on another planet for shallow-rooted vegetables. Then, comfrey does something remarkable. It transports those deep minerals into its leaves. When you harvest comfrey leaves and apply them to your garden, you're moving nutrients from 8 feet underground to the surface where vegetables can use them. This is called dynamic accumulation. Comfrey accumulates minerals dynamically from deep reserves and makes them available at the surface. No fertilizer company can replicate this process. They can mine minerals and bag them. They can synthesize nutrients chemically. But they cannot access the specific deep soil minerals beneath your property and cycle them to your garden surface. Only comfrey does that. Lawrence Hills changed British gardening during World War II. A researcher studying plant nutrition, he became obsessed with comfrey. After measuring what it contained compared to other organic materials, the numbers shocked him. Comfrey leaves contained more potassium than any other plant material he tested. They contained nitrogen levels rivaling manure. They contained phosphorus, calcium, and trace minerals in concentrations that seemed impossible. Hills began promoting comfrey through the wartime gardening movement. Victory gardens across Britain planted comfrey on his recommendation. The results confirmed his laboratory analysis. Gardens using comfrey outproduced gardens using available fertilizers. Harvests doubled and tripled with nothing but the leaves of one plant. Hills established the Henry Doubleday Research Association, specifically to study comfrey. His organization developed the variety known as Bocking 14. This strain was selected for high nutrient content and one crucial characteristic. Bocking 14 is sterile. It produces no viable seeds and cannot spread invasively. This solved the one concern gardeners had about comfrey. Regular comfrey can spread aggressively through seeds and root fragments. Balking 14 stays exactly where you plant it. It produces the same nutritional benefits without any invasive tendency. Hills published his findings throughout the 1940s and 1950s. The British gardening public embraced comfrey enthusiastically. For a brief moment, it seemed the fertilizer industry might face real competition. Then the industry responded. They funded alternative research. They promoted chemical solutions. They positioned synthetic fertilizers as modern while comfrey seemed old-fashioned. Within a generation, Hills's work was largely forgotten outside dedicated organic circles. Scientific analysis of comfrey leaves reveals why the fertilizer industry needed this plant forgotten. The numbers directly threaten their business model. Nitrogen content ranges from 1.8 to 3.5%, depending on growing conditions. This approaches the nitrogen content of animal manure without any of the handling concerns. Fresh comfrey leaves provide nitrogen to gardens without smell, without pathogens, and without waiting for composting. Potassium content is extraordinary. Comfrey leaves contain 5 to 8% potassium by dry weight. This exceeds virtually all other plant materials. For fruiting crops like tomatoes and peppers that demand high potassium, comfrey provides exactly what they need. Phosphorus levels reach 0.5 to 1%. Combined with nitrogen and potassium, comfrey delivers complete NPK nutrition from a single source. The 3-number fertilizer ratios that companies print on bags all exist within comfrey leaves, but the trace mineral content is what truly distinguishes comfrey. Those deep taproots access iron, calcium, magnesium, boron, copper, manganese, and zinc from subsoil deposits. The leaves contain concentrations of these minerals far exceeding surface-grown plants. Commercial fertilizers typically contain 3 nutrients: nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. The trace minerals that plants need for optimal health must be purchased separately if they're addressed at all. Comfrey delivers everything simultaneously. One harvest provides complete nutrition, including minerals that most gardeners don't know their soil lacks. The comprehensive feeding explains why comfrey-treated gardens produce so dramatically better than gardens dependent on limited commercial products. The fertilizer industry cannot match this profile affordably. Comprehensive mineral supplementation would require multiple products at significant cost. Comfrey does it for free, forever, from one planting. The simplest way to use comfrey transforms leaves into concentrated liquid fertilizer. The process requires no special equipment and produces results exceeding anything available in stores. Fill any container with fresh comfrey leaves. A 5-gallon bucket works perfectly for home gardens. A larger barrel suits bigger operations. The container material doesn't matter. Plastic, metal, or wood all work identically. Add water until leaves are completely submerged. Use a weight to keep leaves underwater. Floating leaves decompose slower and can develop mold. Submerged leaves break down quickly into nutrient-rich liquid. Cover loosely and wait. The decomposition process takes 2 to 4 weeks depending on temperature. Warmer conditions accelerate breakdown. Cooler conditions slow it but produce equally good results. A warning about smell: decomposing comfrey produces an intense odor. The smell indicates active bacterial breakdown releasing nutrients into solution. Position containers away from living areas and patios. The smell disappears once the liquid is diluted for use. After 2 to 4 weeks, strain the liquid. The dark brown or black liquid is concentrated comfrey tea. The remaining leaf mush can be added directly to compost or used as mulch. Dilute before applying. Concentrated comfrey tea is too strong for direct application. Mix 1 part concentrate with 10 to 15 parts water. The diluted solution can be applied directly to soil or used as foliar spray. Apply weekly during growing season. Plants receiving regular comfrey tea applications show visible improvement within days. Growth accelerates. Leaves darken to deep, healthy green. Fruit production increases dramatically. 1 batch of comfrey tea contains more nutrition than multiple bottles of commercial liquid fertilizer. The cost is 0. The effectiveness is superior. Liquid fertilizer requires processing time. Chop and drop delivers benefits immediately with 0 preparation. The technique is exactly what it sounds like. Harvest comfrey leaves by cutting stems near the base. Carry leaves to wherever nutrition is needed. Drop them directly on the soil surface around plants. Walk away. The leaves decompose in place over 2 to 3 weeks. As they break down, nutrients release directly into the underlying soil. Earthworms pull leaf material underground, distributing nutrition through the root zone. The process requires no effort after initial placement, but chop and drop does more than fertilize. The leaves form a mulch layer that suppresses weeds, retains moisture, and moderates soil temperature. 1 application provides fertilization, plus weed control, plus water conservation. The technique suits lazy gardening perfectly. No mixing, no measuring, no spraying, no scheduling applications. Simply harvest leaves whenever they're large enough and drop them wherever plants need nutrition. Tomatoes particularly benefit from comfrey mulch. The high potassium content drives flower production and fruit development. Gardeners who ring tomato plants with comfrey leaves report dramatically increased yields compared to plants without comfrey. Fruit trees respond equally well. Apply comfrey leaves in a circle from trunk to drip line. The leaves decompose over the root zone, delivering nutrition exactly where trees absorb it. Annual comfrey mulching can replace all other fruit tree fertilization. The fertilizer industry cannot sell products to gardeners using chop and drop. The method eliminates purchasing entirely. This is why you've never seen it promoted in mainstream gardening media. Comfrey transforms compost production from a months-long process into a weeks-long process. The effect is so dramatic that commercial composting operations use it even when they won't admit the source. The nitrogen content activates decomposition. Compost requires balanced carbon and nitrogen to break down efficiently. Most garden waste is carbon heavy. Leaves, straw, and woody material decompose slowly without nitrogen to fuel bacterial activity. Comfrey provides that nitrogen in ideal form. Adding comfrey leaves to compost piles accelerates breakdown dramatically. Material that would take 6 months to decompose finishes in 6 weeks. The time savings alone justify growing comfrey, but the effect extends beyond speed. Finished compost containing comfrey has higher nutrient density than compost made without it. The minerals comfrey accumulated from deep soil end up concentrated in the finished compost. The product is simply better. Commercial compost activator products cost $15 to $30 per container. They contain nitrogen sources that trigger the same bacterial response comfrey triggers for free. The products work because nitrogen works. Comfrey provides nitrogen without the purchase. The composting industry would prefer you buying accelerators. Every gardener growing comfrey is a customer lost. The plant threatens not just fertilizer sales, but the entire ecosystem of products surrounding soil amendment. A small comfrey patch provides enough material to accelerate all household composting indefinitely. The investment is one time. The savings continue forever. Commercial potting mixes contain limited nutrition. The sterile, lightweight materials that make containers manageable provide almost nothing that plants need to grow. Gardeners compensate by adding fertilizers to potting mix. Liquid feeds, slow-release granules, various amendments sold specifically for container growing. Each purchase adds cost. Each addresses only part of what container plants need. Comfrey transforms potting mix into something far more valuable. Dry comfrey leaves thoroughly, crumble them into small pieces. Mix crumbled leaves into potting mix at a ratio of 1 part comfrey to 4 parts mix. The enhanced mix outperforms commercial premium products. The slow release effect lasts months. Unlike liquid fertilizers that deliver nutrients in one flush, incorporated comfrey releases nutrition gradually as leaves continue decomposing within the mix. Plants receive steady feeding throughout the growing season. Trace minerals make the critical difference. Commercial potting mixes contain minimal micronutrients. Plants grown in them often show deficiency symptoms that gardeners misidentify as disease or pest damage. Comfrey provides the complete mineral profile that prevents these problems. Seed starting particularly benefits from comfrey enhanced mix. Seedlings need trace minerals for proper development. Deficiencies at the seedling stage create weaknesses that persist throughout the plant's life. Starting seeds in comfrey mix produces stronger transplants. The potting soil industry charges premium prices for enhanced mixes. They add fertilizers and minerals, then mark up the price substantially. Comfrey allows gardeners to create superior mixes from basic ingredients at a fraction of commercial cost. This wasn't folk wisdom or garden mythology. This was scientific research conducted during World War II and systematically buried because it threatened corporate profits. One plant, infinite fertilizer, forever, no purchases required. The fertilizer industry generates $242 billion annually selling what comfrey produces for free. They buried this knowledge because informed gardeners don't need their products. They controlled information because your dependency is their business model. Lawrence Hills proved what comfrey could do in the 1940s. Victory gardeners across Britain confirmed his findings. The science is settled. The results are documented. Only the information reaching gardeners has been controlled. But they can't unplant the comfrey growing in gardens worldwide. They can't stop you from ordering root cuttings tonight. They can't prevent you from achieving the fertility independence that terrifies them. One plant changes everything. One planting lasts forever. One decision ends your dependency on an industry that profits from keeping you ignorant. The secret is out. Plant comfrey this season. Harvest it for the rest of your life. I'll see you in the next video.